It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be your host for this absolutely magical, robust lifestyle show. I would like to thank each one of our listeners that have tuned in live today and the ones that will be listening to the recording on the podcast. I am so very grateful and thankful for each and every one of you. And you are all in for a very magical show today, as I have with me my incredible returning diva, Lydia, Lady Apona. And her and I are going to chat about 5 ancient foods for deep healing. Oh, wow. This is going to be one amazing show. So with that, Lydia, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners today?
Well, I'd love to. And hello, Joyce and everyone. It's always a true honor and pleasure to be on your amazing show. And I consider myself a Renaissance woman. I'm a high-performance wellness coach. I've been in the healing arts for over 30 years and started my own healing journey at the age of 10, so I'm almost 60. So it's been a good journey. And I'm a horse advocate and founder of AponaHealing.com, and I bring together all of those years of passion, expertise, and wisdom in holistic healing into my 4 pathways for every stage of personal development to help you heal, grow, and evolve and live a centered, connected, and conscious life. I became involved in holistic healing as a result of my own quest to heal the chronic health conditions I was born with. And again, as I mentioned, that journey started at the age of 10. And macrobiotic healing foods have been a huge part of not only my recovery, but also ongoing in my life to really create more energy. And then when you have more energy, you create more time. And when you have more time and energy of health, and then that all is a circular support system there. And then my life keeps getting better as I get older. And a huge part of that are the macrobiotic healing foods and the whole philosophy and the diet that I learned about years ago, which came to me as guidance in dreams. I was actually told in dreams to eat macrobiotically. That was very specific. and so I went on a quest to learn about it, and I flew to Boston to see the macrobiotic forefather Michio Kushi for a private consultation. And I went on a very intense macrobiotic healing program because I was very ill at the time. But the beauty of macrobiotics is that it's not all or nothing in terms of its application through food. You can learn simple healing foods that you can add to any diet, can be incorporated into any lifestyle, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I thought we'd start by just doing a little overview of what is macrobiotics. How does that sound?
Oh, that sounds perfect, because that's exactly what I was going to ask. I was going to say, could you please explain to the listeners what macrobiotics is? So we're right on the same track, so sounds wonderful. I'll just let you keep going, Lydia.
Sure. Well, macro, it means whole, and then biotic means life. So it's really the understanding of life itself. It's actually a very flexible and adaptable approach to living that helps you create balance and therefore inner security and strength through both mental emotional awareness and physical vitality and spiritual connection. And food choices are part of that. So the macrobiotic diet, which is often very misunderstood or misinterpreted, but that is an extension of the principles of understanding life itself. So it's very similar to Taoist philosophy, and the macrobiotic principles that govern life are considered guides for life. They're based on the what I call the original science of life, yin and yang. So the energy principles of yin and yang are expansion and contraction, hot, cold. So if you think about the yin yang symbol, if you can visualize that circle with sort of like an S in the center, like a wave in the center, and then there's a dot, a dark dot, and a light dot in each half. That means the wholeness of life, and each aspect of life has complementary antagonistic aspects to it. So there's a little bit of one, like a dot in the other, to gently activate it. But the beautiful thing about adding healing foods into your diet is that you don't need to know any of that. You just have to eat the food. And so that's when I work with clients. It's like, just get the food in the mouth. You don't have to understand the theory. But it's sort of like your computer or your car. You don't need to be a mechanic or a software programmer to use those tools. So we think of food as a tool for both healing and health in macrobiotics, because we understand food in macrobiotics as both nutrition, so minerals, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, and energy or frequency or vibration. And so our forefather Michio Kushi in macrobiotics, he always said macrobiotics, well, just a few years ago, he said it was about 200 years ahead of its time, so maybe it's now 150 years ahead of its time, because it combines an understanding of both nutrition and frequency. So as an example so what does that mean? So as an example, let's say you have a carrot, and the carrot grows downward into the ground. There's a root, and then there's a top to the carrot, and that we call that the leafy green top. So the carrot has an energy that we call downward or yang or contracting energy. It's strengthening. And then, but the top grows upward and outward, and so that's lighter, more expansive. And so when we recognize that maybe the body needs, or certain organs always need more warmth and strengthening, or deeper energy to consolidate the energy in the body, and other organs need more open, expansive, dispersing energy, then we can select food based on nutrition, but also the energy of the food. And so, for example, a root vegetable with top, like carrot with top, when we gently simmer it in a bit of water, is good for the lung, large intestine system. It's a very balancing. It's a very balancing dish, and so, and you can think about it also with a carrot. So let's say you have your carrot, and then you can saute that carrot. You can juice the carrot. You can grate the carrot raw. You can stew the carrot. You can pickle the carrot. So nutritionally, it's still the carrot, but how we prepare it has an energetic influence on the body. And this is why you hear about phenomenal recovery stories in macrobiotics when it's done appropriately, and in a case of healing, in a comprehensive way, because it brings together this understanding of nutrition and energy or frequency. So the importance of the selection of the food, the preparation of the food, cooking and chewing are all considered essential foundations to returning to true health of body, mind, and spirit. And the ultimate goal of macrobiotics is to help humans reclaim their sovereignty. And then as humans are more empowered and more centered, connected, and conscious, then we create peace in our lives and in our communities and in our world. So the original, let's say, mission or calling of the macrobiotic forefathers was world peace. And because they came out of the World War II atomic bombings, and then understood the devastation of what can happen, And how do we create peace? We create peace first within ourselves. And bringing in food that supports our wholeness and our sovereignty helps create that step towards world peace. So the five ancient healing foods. Any questions about the overview of macrobiotics?
Oh my goodness, you explained it so well. I took so many notes that I'm like, oh my goodness, you just explained it completely, and I love how you prepare it, the cooking of it, the chewing of it. It's all the energetically in the food and how it energizes your body. It's just all about energy, and I love that.
Yeah, so it goes back to the first ancient universal principle, everything is energy. And again, as I said, we don't need to benefit. Like when I started macrobiotics, I had brain fog and I was sick and I was tired, and I just followed the structure of the healing program. I didn't have any interest in learning about yin and yang or why I was doing what I was doing. But then as I got better, it fascinated me. It was like, wow, this is like totally phenomenal. And it was through the macrobiotic healing program that I started having all my really more clear, more direct spiritual dreams and communication, because I became a strong vessel of light energy from which my body could heal, but also which connected me to all living beings and the multiverses, all the universes. We're already connected. We're just not conscious that we're connected, right?
Exactly.
But chewing is something that everyone can do no matter what you're eating. You can chew your food. That's why we have teeth. And that's why we used to have the lunch hour and dinner hour. Lunch hour and dinner hour were originally designed to actually chew your food for an hour. And it makes a huge difference. We mix our food with our saliva, which is alkaline forming. And then you breathe, you sit upright, you're supposed to be sitting relaxed when you're eating. And the whole notion of having a big, family gathering, and there's all this food at the table, and everyone's talking and excited, and that's great, for, a special occasion. But on a daily basis, we want to actually be conscious of chewing our food and not be talking and, doing all sorts of multitasking. And you can enjoy reading something or whatever, as long as it's relaxing, but talking and engaging gets us distracted from actually chewing. And then chewing helps to activate the liver enzymes as well. So chewing is a phenomenal habit tool to use that anyone can use at any time with any food, and it's a big part of macrobiotic understanding of health. Okay, so let's look at some healing foods that can help us. So my number one favorite all-time ancient healing food is daikon radish. It's spelled D-A-I-K-O-N. And it's also called lobok, L-O-B-O-K, in some grocery stores. And it looks like a giant carrot. It's white. And it's from the radish family. And it's the master fat dissolver. So it's a downward root vegetable. But it has a dissolving effect, or like a carrot would have more a consolidating, contracting effect. And we actually make medicinal drinks with daikon, and there's something called a carrot daikon drink. It's like a little soup type of thing. It's quicker than a soup, and we use it to help break down deposits in the body, and also for a great deep spring cleanse. And daikon aids in digestion, fat and protein. Especially animal fat. So meat has saturated fat, even if you have lean meat, and that gets deposited in the organs and in the body and blocks the flow of energy in the body as well. And so circulation is the key. Circulation of blood, body fluids, and energy is one of the most fundamental factors in creating health and recovery and in sustaining health. And so daikon is the master fat dissolver. It cleanses the organs and tissues. It also helps the body assimilate oils. It also helps break down excess protein in the body. And so it's so inexpensive. You can get at certain grocery stores, depending on where you live, but here, like in Ontario, Canada, even a lot of the rural grocery stores have daikon radish now. And and if you can't get it, you can if you have a like a Chinatown, like an Oriental neighborhood. Sometimes, well, they usually have it in Chinese markets, that sort of thing. You can also buy dried daikon, shredded dried daikon, which is, you can create a really super easy tea. You just boil water, add the shredded dried daikon, and 1 cup of that every day for a few months can do phenomenal things. Just dissolve deposits, dissolve tension and stress, keep everything moving in the body, and it's very, very safe to take. Now, a large daikon radish, depending on how big it is, can cost anywhere, let's say, from $2 to $6. So if someone were to have just 1 daikon radish, let's say a week, which would be quite a bit, but you could slice it thin. Some of my clients slice it thin and put like hummus or nut butter on it like a cracker. And some people just like it raw with a pinch of sea salt. It's very much like a red radish. Red radishes are in the same family as daikon radish. So red radish has fat dissolving properties as well, but not quite as potent as daikon radish. And but let's say at the most for $25 a month, and maybe you could do it for $5 a month, right? If you have the smaller daikon radish, you can do phenomenal things for your health. So in like, for example, in Japanese cooking and Chinese cooking, they grate daikon radish when they have sushi or when they have tempura, like deep fried food, and they eat it with the meal to prevent the accumulation of saturated fat in the body, or to help discharge like, let's say, parasites and things, especially pickles. A natural pickle was designed to help the body digest and helps you be more alkaline. And also, if you were eating, let's say, raw fish in sushi back in the day, then it would help prevent the parasites from settling in your body. So you could grate a little bit of raw daikon, a couple of tablespoons, and put a pinch of sea salt on, or if you're into like a high-quality soy sauce called shoyu, a couple drops, and then you can eat that with your meal. Some people even eat it with their morning porridge. And I don't like it. It's like it tastes like a red radish, but who cares? I mean, it's good for you, and it's not a huge part of your day, right? It's just one of those things that you take that is good for you. And some people really enjoy it. I'm just not a big fan of that pungent taste, or of like a salty sour, like we have an umeboshi plum that we take, but in macrobiotics. But so that's daikon radish. So one of my passions, which I will get back to one day, is to start my daikon revolution. I want to start a daikon revolution where everybody has a daikon radish and talks about how they use it and how incredible it is to prevent future health conditions, and to be applied specifically in specific ways for healing. So we're going to start our daikon revolution one day. I already have the domain name, Daikon Revolution. Any questions so far?
Oh my goodness, this is just incredible. I'm learning so much about this, and I love that you're going to do a daikon revolution. And the other thing that's so awesome is, for people that maybe can't find it fresh in the stores, you can usually find it somewhere dry and use it in a tea form. So that is another way too. So you gave so many options, Lydia. This is just incredible. I'm just loving this. The only thing I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure we're not going to make it through all 5. This may be a continuation show.
Well, I'll mention them. And then we'll see how far we get. Because I just love talking about it, so I could talk about it all the time.
Oh, I love it, and I love how. Yes, you have lived it. You've experienced it, and that is what is so incredible. It is just amazing because you've experienced it, and that makes a huge difference. So I will let you continue on number 2, and then we will see where we're at with our show. And like I said, this may be a continuation to keep our listeners in suspense to find out what the others are.
We'll do part 2 of 5 ancient foods for deep healing. And
yes.
But again, the beauty is they're so affordable. Like, you can't get anything more affordable than daikon radish. And for the return on investment, for the ROI, I mean, it is phenomenal. Like, you, even if you said, as you mentioned, if you can't get it fresh, you can get it dried, and it can be a tea, and it can also be used in cooking dried as well. There are many applications of the dried daikon. So the number 2, there are many healing foods, but the second one I've chosen are shiitake mushrooms. So you can get them dried as well. And shiitake mushrooms, again, help dissolve fat and protein deposits in the body. They decrease cholesterol, cleanse the blood. They're known to have antiviral and anti-tumor properties. And they contain all 8 amino acids in a ratio similar to the ideal protein for human nutrition. They're also rich in B vitamins and leucine and lysine. And so we don't want to eat a lot of shiitake mushrooms, though. So the guideline is about 1 dried mushroom a week on average. And you can soak it and slice it, and you can put it in a soup. You can put it in a saute. So if you have a household of 5 people, then you might have 5 dried shiitake mushrooms. So again, just a small amount of it will help activate the body's natural healing mechanisms. And the body is always trying to heal itself. So all healing is just continually cleansing and strengthening. And that's why something like Reiki, when you add energy through Reiki, helps activate that mechanism, that life force in the body to do that. And then when you bring in healing foods to support the cells at the deepest level, then you're just on your way, on your way to healing and living the life that you want to live. And we all came here, to live our passions and our gifts, and we need a strong, stable health to do that. We don't want to be struggling constantly just to survive, which I lived through that, the first 30 years of my life. And, I used to say I didn't come to the planet to be half alive, right? I came to the planet to have the full experience of what it's like to live as a human being in health and vitality and mental clarity. And these simple healing foods are for everyone and can help anyone. And again, it doesn't matter what else you're eating. At this point, we're not talking about eating a full macrobiotic diet. We're talking about adding simple healing foods that will greatly benefit you.
Oh, how phenomenal. Well, I definitely, as quick as this show has gone, Lydia, and as we're coming to the end of it, we definitely are going, if it's okay with you, I would love to ask to have you back on my show on Robust Lifestyles so we can continue in part 2 and you can tell the rest of the 5 ancient foods for deep healing, because just incredible information. It is something I had no idea about, and I'm loving it. So I'm sure there's plenty of listeners out there that this is probably the first time they've heard something like this, and this is just such good information. I would love to have you back, and let's continue on the 5 ancient foods for deep healing.
Well, thank you, Joyce. I would love that. And as I mentioned, I love sharing information that is accessible to everyone and that can benefit everyone. And you can incorporate it in the way that you want. And then you'll feel the changes slowly. And all healing is return to wholeness. And as we return to our whole, true, natural state of health, sometimes we forget, that we had ailments or that we didn't feel well. But it's good to remember where we came, where we started from, and then how far we've come. And these simple healing foods on a daily incremental basis will have long-term positive effects in our lives.
Oh, yes, definitely. I can hear that by everything that you're saying, and the passion in your voice. I just love it. It just brings so much energy to what you are talking about. It is just incredible. So before we do close, though, Lydia, would you please share how our listeners may connect with you when they listen to this and they go, I need to connect with Lydia? What are the best ways that they can do that?
Well, you can go to my website, aponahealing.com, where I have the links to my 4 pathways. And one of them is my Apona Healing Method. And so it's still connected with the old website, aponahealingmethod.com. And if you go to aponahealingmethod.com/macrobiotics, or just look under About or something like that on the tabs, then macrobiotics is with an A, M-A-C-R-O, biotics. Then you'll read a little bit about what macrobiotics is. I have an overview there. And then I have a few videos on my YouTube channel, which I'm going to end up posting on my website so they have easy access, about introduction to these healing foods. And then I have a free guide, a free short PDF guide on these ancient healing foods. So if you go to aponahealing.com and sign up on my newsletter, and then I will send you a PDF of the healing foods guide that we're talking about today and in our next episode.
Oh, how wonderful. And how special of you to be giving that PDF out to the listeners so they can have something in their hand on these healing foods. That is service to others completely. Oh, I just love it, and how you're working to make this world a better place. Thank you so much, Lydia, for being my guest, and I am so excited to continue this conversation next month on the 5 ancient healing foods for deep healing. And I want to wish you a magical day, and you and all your animal families may magic fill your days until you and I connect again on Robust Lifestyles.
Well, thank you, Joyce. The same to you and to all our listeners. And we're here to live healthy, happy lives. And there are simple, effective, affordable ways to do that.
Oh, yes. And thank you so much again. And with that, I want to thank all of our listeners for listening to this absolutely amazing show with our incredible diva, Lydia, Lady Apona. Please share this show with all your family and friends. Check out all the other hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. And remember, some of the golden nuggets, there were so many, we only touched on 2 of the ancient foods. So the daikon radish and the shiitake mushroom. And remember, peace comes from within, and all of the universe is connected, and healing returns to wholeness. So just kind of feel some of the energy and the passion that Lydia shared with you today, and listen to this wonderful podcast that she just completed on Robust Lifestyles. It was just absolutely magically amazing. So with that, I want to wish everyone a magical day. Remember, be really kind to all. Give your animals that great big extra hug and share all your love with them as they so deserve it. And until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles, stay strong and healthy.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.